Man, I got tons of stories. If you've listened to anything I've talked to before, I grew up in foster care as a foster kid from 5 years old till I graduated high school. Joined the Navy late in life. I was 21 when 9/11 happened, so it kind of motivated me to fight for my country. Um, I guess the biggest thing that kind of changed my trajectory growing up, I bounced around to so many different homes, no real path or focus in my early teenage years. Was the last group of foster parents that I had, Wayne and Kathy Ballou, out of Lomita, Texas, little small town Texas there. Um, yeah, man, I don't know how many homes I'd been through at that point, but I was 15 at the time, 16. It's going to my junior year in high school. The home I was at really wasn't working, and they were about to shift me to an institution, which would have ruined my college dreams and everything else I had going for me because I was a straight A student growing up. It's like the only stability that I had was school, and I enjoyed school more than anything. Like I'd rather spend all my time at school than the foster homes because everything was always different with the foster homes, but school was always consistent. Like I knew exactly I was going to get there. But no, Wayne and Kathy took me in. They told my caseworker that Dino, because he was my baseball coach at the time, but they were also foster parents, and they were looking for a way to not throw everything away that I worked so hard for. Because, like I said, I'd working to get into Texas A&M University. I wanted to do pre med, but that time in my life, I kind of just almost given up, and I was like, well, it doesn't matter anyway. It's about to be put somewhere and shifted again, and it doesn't matter what I do when I graduate high school. And they took me in, kind of helped me get squared away, made me feel like I was in a real family, which is weird being 16 and probably my 30th, 40th foster home at the time. And I still talk to them this day. Like I saw them last week. They drove up from Lomita to see my kids. I call them mom and dad. But yeah, if it wasn't for them, I definitely wouldn't be where I was at today as far as the motivation piece, and the drive and just to help me refocus where I was at that time. Um, yeah, it doesn't matter where you come from as far as your background or whatnot. They've had studies, going through buds, guys like what makes the perfect team guy, pre buds, post buds. It's like, man, it's all individual based. You can't, create a team guy from nothing. He's definitely, there's no formula. It is like the human mind. Depends on how strong the person is, because you've seen we've had guys from perfect backgrounds, rich families make it through buds, and you have guys like myself, orphaned at a young age, bounce around all these different foster homes, and then end up at the command I was at. It wasn't. I mean, it could be based on resilience. It could be based on mindset. It just could be based on the atmosphere and the culture at the time. But um, yeah, I guess the biggest thing with that is from foster care and finally finding somebody at that point in time in my life was very pivotal. It inspired me and kind of trajectoried me to where I'm at today.
Man, I appreciate you sharing that, brother.
Hell yeah.
That's
I
awesome, man.
appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, man.